All right, so we will begin standing for this practice, starting off with the QiGong, which will move through the larger joints of the body, allowing for qi, or in our yoga language, prana, to be able to flow freely. So if an area is congested or tight, that energy is not as readily able to go through. So similar to like with singing bowls, that vibration is energy able to move through. If we were to hold on to the singing bowl and try and ring it, it would just, the sound would stop because we're stopping that movement of energy. So within ourselves, that same theory applies. So just imagining, visualizing, feeling, if you would like, a clear spring of water. Maybe you have a favorite creek near your house that you love to see the sparkling water just traveling through. And if you are visualizing, you might just imagine that that clear, sparkly, light-filled energy is moving through your whole body. All right. So as we begin, the Wu Chi stance is a little wider with your foot placement, giving a slight bend of your knees. And my apologies, I do tend to blend in with the couch and the yoga mat, so one of these days I'll be wearing color. With a little bend of your knees, we now take our attention to the plumb line. So with the plumb line awareness, the tailbone is anchoring down towards the earth and the crown of the head reaching up towards the sky. So there's that awareness through the central column of alignment. Now, if you would like, you might place the tip of your tongue just behind the front teeth on the upper palate, letting the rest of your tongue be relaxed in your mouth. And then for the arms, there's a little space in the armpits. It's said as if you were holding a small egg in your armpits. So finding your Wu Chi stance, this allows for alignment and again invites that movement of Qi. We'll begin with owl looking, and the owl is looking one way and the other. So here we are turning the neck, turning the head, and as much as possible, resisting the urge to really push the head. So we might get there and realize, ooh, I could stretch a little more. And we'll just stay for a moment in that, just looking to the left, looking to the right. Maintaining that softness of your knees, the awareness of your plumb line, and long, slow, deep breaths. Continuing a few more times. Good. As we come back, reestablishing that awareness of your stance. Next, we have chicken pecking. With this one, you'll look down, feeling the stretch along the back line of your body, and then looking up. As you're looking up, imagine, feel, sense a stretch from the pubic bone all the way up the front of the body. And then looking down and looking up. As you continue, I'll just turn to the side for a moment, showing the looking down. We get that stretch along the back. And then looking up, inviting that awareness of that stretch along the front line of the body. We'll do a few more times here. Long, slow, deep breaths. Tapping into the wisdom traditions. So all of the seekers who have practiced before us give a strengthening to that lineage, that awareness. They've done these practices and they've felt, sensed, noticed that it helps the promotion of the flow of Qi. So as we do a few more times, even if it feels a little silly, you might even have a chicken that you can picture. Just allowing for the medicine of the practice. And then we'll come back to our Wu Chi stance. So that bend in the knees, awareness of your plumb line, positioning of the tongue, little soft holding of the arms here. All right, next we are doing tiger's mouth. We'll place the palm of one hand across your pec, a little bit of fingers towards the armpit, and then bringing that arm across the midline of the body, the palm will face up. As you sweep your arm up to the sky, you'll start to, and my camera's not catching it, you'll start to rotate your thumb and bring it down and around. Let's see if I can adjust this slightly. So your tiger's mouth, you're holding on across here, across the chest, bringing the arm across the midline of your body. And as you bring it up and around, you'll start to turn your thumb to point down. So as you're bringing your arm down, you've done a full rotation of that shoulder socket. Slow and steady. Palm is up as you come across the midline of your body. And then sweeping up to the sky, start to rotate your arm in that shoulder socket. So as you're coming down, your thumb is pointing down. Maintain that awareness of your stance. Inhaling and exhaling long, slow, deep breaths. Getting our shoulders ready for whatever activities we have planned for today, and helping to clear out any residue or residual tension or tightness. And notice I found that I was gripping through this right side of my neck a little bit. So as I do that body awareness scan, I'm just making sure I'm not holding tension anywhere in the body. It doesn't need to be activated. Good. Now, when we reverse this circle of the arm, we'll bring the arm up, crossing the midline of your body, a little bit of a karate chop type of positioning with the arm, chopping across, and then sweeping that thumb open, sweeping open all the way around, and karate chop across the front line of your body. Slow and steady, big breath in, full breath out. Deep inhale, full exhale. Let's do one more with this arm, really working into that rotator cuff, working into the area of your whole shoulder, making sure that you'll be good and ready to pick up leaves if that's part of your project. We'll go ahead and release. You might just shake it off a little bit. Standing in your Wu Chi again. Pause, breathe, and feel. Now you may already have a sense or a feeling of a little more circulation, a little more flow on that side. So we'll balance it with the other side. Placing your, move the microphone, place your tiger's mouth, your hand, across your pec. And then bringing the palm open across the midline of the body, sweep it up, and start to rotate that thumb all the way around, thumb pointing down. Sweeping across the body, serving up, bring some light, and rotating, thumb is down. Ooh, a little crunchy in that shoulder. Let's come across the midline of the body, all the way up, rotating, all the way down. Controlled articular rotations in some practices. Here in our QiGong practice, we're just investigating where we can find a little more openness, a little more flow. Let's do two more in this direction, keeping your awareness of your stance, aware of your plumb line, perhaps still maintaining that positioning of your tongue. Oh, shoulders. Lovely. Switching the direction as you sweep back. Open, really opening, maybe feeling that a bit through the pec. Karate chop positioning. We'll move slowly here, rotating open, sweeping around. And karate chop across the body. Just like in our yoga practice, it's a good idea to not make up stories about what we're feeling or hearing. Just let the practices work. Let's inhale one more time, sweeping up and around. And exhale. Very nice. Release. Take a moment. Again, you might pause, breathe, and feel. All right. For this next one, we'll bring our arms out in front. I'll just turn for a moment, bringing in as if you're touching your shoulders, and then sweeping the back of the hands towards each other. And you may even let the back of the hands touch. Straightening the arms forward, back of the hands touching, and then begin to bring your hands in again. So I find with this one, keeping the back of the hands touching as you make this rotation. Bringing the arms in, rotating the back of the hands to touch, and back of the hands. All right. Continuing a few more times in this direction. And then if you would like, maybe changing that direction. So back of the hands touch, bringing the hands in, ooh, and out. Oh yeah, Wu Chi. Bringing the back of the hands in and out. Getting a little hot in the shoulders. Bring it in. We're working wrist, shoulders, elbows, and out. One more time. And out. All right, go ahead and release that. Again, you might pause to visualize that sparkling spring of clear energy, or maybe it's a visual of water. There's clearing, washing through the whole body. Little micro bend of those knees. Again, we're working into our hips now. So we'll shift the hips over to one side, and then hips to the back, hips over to the other side, and then hips forward. Hips over to one side, and then back, over to the other side, and then forward. Aiming to keep the upper body as upright as possible. You might start to smooth this out into a circle. Sweeping all the way out and around. Hips and low backs, and maybe even inner thighs are having something to say about this. And then when you're ready, we'll change the direction. So you might start off boxy, if that helps, and then start to circle it. And again, aiming to keep it as much as possible into the hips, into the hip sockets. You may even be feeling it a bit around the SI joint. And coming back, take a moment here. Now our hands might land a little more into our hip creases, and we're targeting circling the tailbone. So again, the Wu Chi stance, little bend of the knees, and then circling the tailbone. So if you could imagine drawing a circle on the floor with your tailbone. And here again, you might have different body parts that are like, what are we up to? My right knee is kind of sus right now, but maybe as you're circling, you find, oh yeah, wow, maybe the SI joint was feeling a little locked up. And through this circling of the tailbone, drawing circles on the ground, moving the pelvis, the hips, it's actually a really great way to clear out, again, any areas that got congested or locked up. So change the direction if you haven't already. And then again, we'll take a pause. Might just walk it out a little bit. Let that chi move. Breathe, feel. Nice. Stepping 1 foot forward, we will start to circle the leg out. So with this one, a bit of a stretch into the toes, the foot, the ankle, as well as up into that hip socket. So circling out, out, out. I can hear in my joints that I had popcorn last night, and then we'll circle the leg the other way. So you are what you eat, right? The qualities of our food end up being those elements represented in our body. So popcorn being very airy has the joints a little poppy. All right. Second side, stepping your other leg out and again, circling. Okay, I'm going to start circling out. Sometimes on the left side, that brain body connection is a little, takes a minute to get the engines going. So just take your time playing with it. And then when you're ready, changing that direction. So circling and just being all right with it. Again, for me, sometimes this side is just awkward. And just continuing with the practice, getting the chi in to wake up any areas. Got a little congested again. We want them to feel sparkly and light. All right, good. When you're ready, we'll step our feet all the way together, knees all the way together, hands onto your knees, and then doing some circles. And then circle the other way. Excuse me. Circling around. And then bend and straighten. So hands on the knees, just straightening through the legs, bending again, straightening through the legs, bending again. One more time, straightening and bend. We'll slowly come all the way up to standing. Just walk that off a little bit. Finding our Wu Chi stance here one more time. We'll do pouring the cream on top to close our QiGong joint movements. We'll inhale, reach all the way up. Imagine you're grabbing a big beach ball. And then as you exhale, bringing this down just in front of the body, but imagine, and you can keep breathing here, that's a long exhale. Imagine that this chi is moving all the way through the body. Inhale, we'll reach all the way up. Gathering that ball of chi, and exhale, bringing your hands down in front of your body. Imagine, visualize that light, that chi, moving all the way through the whole body. One more time, inhale. And exhale. And then if you would like, placing one hand on top of the other, just under the navel, taking a moment to pause, breathe, and feel. Good. All right. So now that we've gotten some of those blockages cleared out, allowing for that flow of chi or prana, we'll do a QiGong shaking exercise. Now with this one, the action is from bending the knees, so we're bouncing. Now letting your hands start to shake here. And you've got it. We're shake it off, right? So with the full moon this past week, we got a really great opportunity to practice letting go. So we're just bouncing the knees, and you can go at a pace that's right for you, always. Bounce, bounce, bounce. Maybe you decide a little turn to one side. Sound effects optional. Turning to the other side, we're going to bounce those knees. Coming back to center, keep that bounce going. And then if it works okay for you, I'm going to slowly start to raise the arms. And bringing the arms back down. Good. Keep that bounce going. And if you would like, some people like to lift and lower the heels a few times, letting the heels contact the earth to really shake out any areas that are congested. And then you might keep the heels on the ground, keep your bounce going. We'll take the arms up again. And bringing the arms back down. If you want to play with a little balance, shift to one foot, And let the other one get a little shake. And then back to center, shift to the other foot, and giving your other leg a little shake. Good. All right. Let's take the arms up again, reaching all the way up, shaking out, clearing out, bringing the arms back down. Now we'll give a little shake to the backside. Just gonna shake it however you want to, shake it however you need, shake it, shake it, shake it. Oh yeah, good. And then we'll come back to our bounce. We're gonna come back to where we started, bouncing the knees, shaking the hands. And then as you begin to slow it down, eventually come to stillness. Deep inhale. Exhale. Take a moment again to pause, notice, and feel. Maybe you bring back your visualization of that clear spring of water, that sparkling spring. Imagining that sparkling energy just flowing through the whole body. Good. All right. Very nice. Let's step to the top of the mat. If you'd like, maybe a little sip of water. And as we make our way down to the mat, let's inhale, reach our arms all the way up high to the sky. As you exhale, begin to forward fold, sliding your hands down your legs, release your head, bend your knees a little bit here. And then pressing into the front of your legs, inhale, lift up halfway, start to strengthen through your back body. And then planting your hands, walk your feet all the way back to downward dog. I'm going to adjust the camera once again. In your downward facing dog, if you would like, you might pedal out through your heels. If you're not doing downward dog today, you might come directly to table. If there's anything you love in down dog, maybe lifting one leg, opening through your hip, and then doing that on the other side. Whenever you are ready, let's come to a tabletop position. Now I am having a little extra padding under my knees. I also have carpet and a rug and a thick mat. So if you're on a hardwood floor, you might consider if you wanted to put a folded blanket under your knees. Moving into cat and cow. Lifting your tailbone, lifting your sitting bones, brighten your heart forward. And then as you exhale, cat pose, rounding your spine towards the sky, scooping your sitting bones to point down, release your head. If you would like, you might close your eyes as you continue. And then any other intuitive movements that might feel good for you. Maybe you like to wag the dog, looking over one shoulder and then over the other. Or perhaps you love to do hip circles, stirring around through the hips, getting some movement in the side body and low back. If you are feeling complete in your table, you can find your way to child's pose. You might invite your knees to move a little wider, big toes touch. And as you walk your arms forward, rest your head and your arms onto the earth. When you're ready, find your way back to table. We will move into a bit of a twist here. Keep your left hand planted and reach your right arm up to the sky. From here, we're coming into a twist. Bring your shoulder all the way down to the mat. So this is a thread the needle. Bringing your head and your shoulder down to the mat. Long, slow, deep breaths here. And then either come back to table or on your way up, reach the right arm to the sky again. Coming back to our table. In between sides, if you would like, you might move through a few rounds of cat and cow, or perhaps if you would like, you could go directly into downward dog. If you have moved into downward dog, let's eventually meet in table. Take your time. We'll plant the right hand onto the earth and reach our left arm open, spiraling the rib cage open here. And then when you're ready, thread the needle, bringing your arm, your shoulder, and your head all the way down to the mat. Again, here you could either press into that right hand and come directly to table, or maybe you reach your left arm high to the sky before returning to our tabletop position. Again, maybe a few rounds of cat and cow to integrate. Or again, if you would like, you could go directly to downward dog, hanging your spine upside down as a way of digesting your twist. We're on our way to crocodile pose. If you went into down dog, slowly lower your knees back down. Shift your hips forward and lower all the way down to your stomach. We'll stack our hands, resting. You could also stack your forearms, keeping some space for your chest. Take your legs a little wider apart. Letting your legs rest onto the mat, and then rest your head either onto your arms or onto your stacked hands. In this crocodile pose, we'll tune into our breath. So with your belly onto the earth as you're inhaling, there's a more noticeable awareness of the belly gently expanding on the inhale and contracting on the exhale. Paying attention to your breath here. See if you can relax through your glutes, relaxing through the back body. Taking this time with your breath. This is a mild back bend. Relax your tongue, soften your jaw. We'll take a few more moments in this crocodile pose, allowing for this time and this posture not only to provide a bit of that back bend, but also to give a little awareness to our internal organs. So the heat of summer may have accumulated in the small intestine. So here with our belly on the earth, we're allowing for an awareness and an integration, helping to soothe and move some of the heat out of the lower abdomen. And from here, we're coming into Sphinx pose. As you lift your head, turn your arms so that they are parallel with one another, parallel with the sides of your mat. Begin to walk your legs in, perhaps if a little closer if we moved them out for crocodile. Press into the top of your feet. Let your pelvis really commit to being landed on the earth. And have your elbows a little in front of your shoulders. If we find that they are behind our shoulders, we don't have the stacking of the bones. And so either elbows directly under the shoulders or slightly in front. Here, let your awareness move to your heart, letting your breath expand the heart forward on the inhale, and then give great ease to the back of your heart on your exhale. So thinking of your heart chakra, your heart energy, 360 degrees. The inhale, brightening the front of the heart forward, and the exhale, sweeping your awareness and a sense of relaxation down the back body. Now, if our hip flexors are rather tight, this can be slightly uncomfortable with all the compression in the low back. Maybe it's something that we decide to practice a couple more times this week. And just allowing for this body position to help to open up the front of the hips and thighs. We will move into another back bend. So slowly transition right over onto your back, setting up for bridge pose. As we move from back bend to back bend, we might resist doing any counter poses until we are complete with this series. So as you flip over, knees are bent, feet are onto the floor. Arms can be alongside of your body or hands onto your belly. If that is continuing the tending to your internal organs, letting them know, hey, thanks. I know you do a lot of work for me. Diaphragmatic breathing allows for that abdomen to gently expand on the inhale and relax back on the exhale. We'll relax our arms by our sides, palms facing down, and then begin to reach your arms towards the ceiling and then all the way overhead, aiming to invite the back of the hands towards the mat above your head. And then sweep your arms through the sky again, landing your hands by your hips. Let's do that 3 more times. Inhale as you reach your arms up and all the way overhead. Exhale as you sweep your arms through the air, landing your hands by your hips. Inhale. Exhale. Working energy into the shoulders and into the heart. Inhale, bringing that energy up to the space of our throat. Exhale. Next time your arms have landed down, we'll bend our elbows, keeping the elbows in close to the rib cage. Have your palms facing towards each other over your belly button. So the arms are at a 90-degree angle. We'll keep our thighs parallel here. When you are ready, begin to press into your feet, pressing into the back of your arms, lift your hips. Letting your chest come towards your chin. And then slowly lower your spine all the way back down. We'll do that 3 more times. Inhale, lift your hips. Keep pushing into the elbows. Exhale, lower your spine, lower your hips. Inhale as you lift. Exhale as you lower. Now on this final time, if you'd like to lift and stay for a few breaths, lifting all the way up, either keep your arms in this 90 degrees, pressing into the elbows, or if it's part of your practice to find a bind, you might straighten your arms, begin to walk your upper arms under, perhaps reaching to interlace your hands, sliding the shoulder blades in towards each other. Again, the chest is reaching towards the chin, neck is long, thighs are parallel. Really energizing and irrigating the throat chakra, managing our endocrine system, giving some balance to our thyroid. If you found a bind, releasing, moving your hands out of the way, and then slowly lowering all the way back down. You might find a cleansing breath here, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Integration pose. Supta Baddha Konasana, bottom of your feet come to touch, knees drop open to the sides. If you would like, maybe your hands rest onto your abdomen again, encouraging your diaphragmatic breathing. Inhaling, the belly gently expands. Exhaling, the belly relaxes back. Do your body scan here, bringing that yogic awareness into all that we do. You might notice if you could soften your jaw, relax your tongue, maybe soften across your shoulders. You can stay longer if you would like, or you might change the position of your legs, bringing your knees back up. Take your feet wide, and then let your knees drop into the support of each other. A different awareness and sensation in the hip sockets here. And then we'll move into that counter pose that I mentioned earlier. So from a back bend, when we bring the legs in towards the chest, this is a action like a forward fold. We'll start off with our hands on our knees, arms are straight. This is our inhale position. As you begin to hug your knees in, this is as you're exhaling. We'll inhale, let the thighs move just that straight arms distance from the belly. And then when you're exhaling again, your hands are just very comfortably hugging the legs back in. So it's simply bending and straightening the arms to integrate from the back bend. Inhaling the arms, let the legs move straight arms distance from the belly. Exhaling, hugging in, that compression on the lower abdomen, and the reverse positioning of your spine after your back bend. Slow and steady, very gentle Apanasana here. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. When you feel integrated from your back bend, you might decide to hug your legs in and keep them in a compressed position, hugging in for a few rounds of breath. Here, you'll notice perhaps even more the belly pressing into the thighs on your inhale and the belly relaxing in on your exhale. If it's available for your neck and shoulders, on your next exhale, gently rounding your head and shoulders up towards your knees. And then release your head and shoulders back down. If that worked for your body, you might do that 1 or 2 more times, tending to your spine. Again, perhaps 1 more, squeezing the internal organs, stretching the back. And when you feel complete with that, release your feet to the mat. Keep your knees bent, step your feet wide apart. Perhaps extend your arms out to the sides at shoulder height and begin a slow windshield wiper of your legs from side to side. As you're moving here, tending to the hips, the quadriceps, the hip flexors, you may notice a little rocking of your pelvis right and left. This could provide a massage across your low back. If it works for your neck, you might turn your head in the opposite direction from your legs. As you're moving, if you decide you'd like to keep your legs off to one side for a few rounds of breath, you might feel as gravity helps to release, stretch, and drop that top leg, that inside leg. And then if you paused on one side, take some time to pause on the other. When you feel balanced from side to side, bringing your knees back to center and find a full body stretch. So extending your legs out long, begin to reach your arms overhead. As you reach and lengthen, you might give a little extra emphasis of lifting your rib cage to stretch underneath the rib cage, stretching the diaphragm, stretching the belly. Circle your wrists and ankles while you're here. I can still hear the popcorn in my joints. And reach, wiggle fingers and toes. And then bend your knees, coming into constructive rest. Constructive rest pose, knees are bent, feet are onto the earth. Your hands could be on your belly, out to the sides, stretched out, whatever feels best for you. We'll take a moment here to pause, breathe, and feel. In this position, your hip flexors, your psoas, is in a neutral position. This invites the nervous system into a calm state. If you need to, if you haven't already, go ahead and adjust your low back so that you can rest here for about 6 more rounds of breath. When you feel ready, bring your right knee into your chest. Keep the left leg bent for a moment. We'll just squeeze the right knee in And then extend the right leg to the sky. Circle your right ankle a few times. Move your foot side to side. And then keeping your ankle flexed, cross your right ankle over your left knee. Now, as your right leg is dropping open, you might be feeling a stretch into your right hip. You could stay here or bringing your legs in, holding on around your left thigh. Now, if that is straining the shoulders, you might decide to put your left foot up onto a wall, a couch, maybe some yoga blocks, or you could keep that left foot on the floor. We'll be here for about 10 rounds of breath, so make sure whatever outline you've chosen is comfortable and sustainable. Counting your long, slow, deep breaths here, take your time. When your 10 rounds of breath are complete, gently release your feet back down to the mat. If you would like, you might take a windshield wiper of your legs or a full body stretch. See what serves you best before we set up for our second side. Eventually coming back to constructive rest with knees bent, feet onto the earth. Bring your left knee into the chest for a squeeze, hugging in. And then extend that leg to the sky and circle out through your left ankle. Keeping your left foot flexed, cross your ankle over your right knee. And here again, as that left knee drops open, maybe already there are some sensations to spend time with in that left hip. Again, perhaps you decide to bring your legs in for your figure 4 pose, either holding onto the right thigh or putting your right foot onto a surface that supports you best. Use your body awareness to scan through, relaxing your forehead, your face, your tongue, your jaw, your shoulders, and then counting out your 10 rounds of breath. Again, take your time. When your 10 rounds of breath are complete, release your feet back down to the earth. Here again, you might take a full body stretch, opening the front of your hips and thighs. Reach through your arms and through your legs. And then hugging both of your knees into your chest. A little rocking side to side can massage the back. At center, if it works for your body, you might curl into a little ball one more time on your exhale, rounding head and shoulders towards your knees. And resting back. If you love to close your practice with a happy baby pose, perhaps finding that here. If there are any other poses that you love, maybe taking a reclined twist, and taking your legs over to one side, a few full breaths. Beginning to tend to yourself in the ways that you need before arriving into Shavasana. So again, give yourself a few moments, just noticing what else your body would enjoy. Perhaps there are some poses that you are devoted to doing, bringing those in. And then whenever it is time for you to come into Shavasana, you might bring a pillow or a bolster for under your knees. Or you might explore taking a few moments with just dangling your legs up to the sky. Or perhaps positioning yourself in a way that you could do your Shavasana in a supported legs up. That might involve scooting over to a couch, sliding your shins up, or you're resting your calves on the couch. Allowing for this posture. Or if you do have a wall close by and you love legs up the wall, you could scoot over to a wall and position yourself into a legs up the wall pose. As you settle into whatever pose of stillness and integration serves you best today, you might take about 10 rounds of breath to do your body awareness scan. So scanning maybe from the feet to the crown of the head, or from the crown of the head to your feet. Just inviting the whole body to release, to relax. Letting go of any areas that sometimes habitually hold on, or maybe that got reactivated as you positioned yourself. And with your loving body scan, just inviting your whole body to completely relax. Relaxing your tongue, softening your jaw. In Shavasana, we can release our breath control if we were employing any pranayama techniques. After your 10 rounds of breath of a body scan, just allow yourself to release all practices, just remaining in stillness in your chosen posture or outline. Completely relaxed, resting here, full body surrender. In your full body surrender, your whole body is completely relaxed. Eyes resting back. Full ease in the whole body. Become aware of your whole body completely relaxed. Your whole body resting in Shavasana. Begin to bring your awareness back to the space that you're in. Bring your awareness back to your breath. Slowly starting to bring small movements to your fingers and to your toes. Stretching through your arms and through your legs. And then beginning to bend your knees, bringing your feet to the earth, finding a pause. Bringing one hand to your heart and one hand to your belly. Taking a moment here to thank yourself for this time of self-care, for checking in with your body, checking in with your mind, checking in with your heart. Closing our practice with that most powerful prayer. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I thank you so much for your practice. The light and the love in me bows to and honors the light and the love in you. Namaste. Thank you for your practice. Have a beautiful day.